Hello again, ball hockey fans. Welcome back to the 2024 ISBHF World Ball Hockey Championships here in beautiful Visp and Raron, Switzerland. Got a good one coming up for you here. First game of the tournament for Team Canada men. They'll be squaring off against a young, up-and-coming Great Britain squad coached by two ISBHF Hall of Famers, head coach George Gortzos and assistant coach James Chicky Mentis. Great Britain had an interesting game yesterday in the opening match of the tournament. They faced off against Greece, and because they are a young team, they ended up getting down early, 5-0. But also because they're a young team, they ended up saying, you know what, we don't care. We're just going to keep trying, taking it shift at a time, and ended up clawing and scratching their way back into the game and nearly pulled off the comeback. And ended up taking the L 5-4, but they gave Greece one heck of a second and third period, I'll tell you that much. So they have a tall order today facing off against the defending champion, Team Canada, who in 2022 won gold on their home country in Laval, Quebec. They have a lot of veterans returning on this roster. They're very solid in net, always well coached. This is going to be an interesting game. We'll see how Great Britain reacts, if they can keep that momentum against the defending world champions. If you want to keep up to date on stats, you can always visit our website, isbhf.com. We have a link there on the home page to the stats website, and we have live scoring in effect. The website is stats.isbhf.com, and again, you can find the link to that directly on our home page as the Great Britain men take the floor. Should be ready for the opening draw here in just a minute. I'll be your play-by-play commentator, Chris Pekanowitz. Happy to have you with us. All you Canadian fans waking up early back home to join us. 1:30 p.m. local time here. I know you guys are 6 hours behind us, so pitch at 7:30 in the morning. Appreciate you waking up early to cheer on your Canadian men. As both teams finish saluting each other, as is tradition here in the ISBHF and in the sport of ball hockey. So for Canada, play the role of color commentator here for a minute. If I'm then, I obviously know what happened against Greece. And if I'm the coaching staff for Canada, my message is very simple. Get up early on these guys, keep the pressure on them, and let's let them know just up what they are up against. We're the defending champs, and we need to act like it. Let's not let them breathe. Let's get the ball deep, get a good forecheck going, get the legs moving early, and make sure that we smother them. Now, if I'm the Great Britain team, we know we're a young team, probably saying, hey, we know Canada's going to want to come out and bury us early so that they can effectively demoralize us. Let's do our best to keep them off the scoreboard as long as we can and just play smart hockey. Let's limit the turnovers, make sure that we don't make bad passes. If we have the ball on our stick, let's make sure we know what we're going to do with it before we get it. And just play smart hockey. That's the best we can do, right? Play smart hockey. We're almost set for the opening draw here. Trying to see who is in net for Team Canada. And it looks like Chris Kerr, number 31, if my eyes do not deceive me, as we are underway. So Canada with possession early. Streaking down the right wing. Canada still with possession. Out in front, loose ball early. Possession maintained by Canada. Point, long wrist shot. Knocked down in front. Onto the stick of Great Britain. They're going to try and get it deep here. Poke forward by Canada. Trying to stick into their way through. Not going to work as Great Britain takes control. Good poke check there by Jean-Philippe Moquin. Sends Great Britain back into their own zone.
I believe Great Britain has Dominic Ray in net, who was the player of the game against Greece. Outstanding young kid, really played fantastic. Kept them in it throughout the second and the third period. As I mentioned at the start of the game, they lost 5-4, but I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for that kid, I mean, that game could have been 10, 11, 12, nothing, as we're going to get a penalty here on Great Britain. Referee has his hand up. Ball skitters into the corner. Canada has pulled their goalie, so right now it's a 6-on-5. See what they try and pull off here. If they're just going to get a shot on net, get set up for the power play. Tic-tac-toe. Lafont, shot goes wide. Shot, oh, good save by Ray. Right off the waffle. Another shot, finally Great Britain gains possession. Good look at the net there for Canada by Justin Melino. See what the call here is on the referee as he's pointing at the offending Great Britain player. So Great Britain netminder Dominic Ray gonna have his work cut out for him early here as Canada goes onto the power play, and it looks like it's an interference call against number 8 for Great Britain, or sorry, that looks number 9. My apologies there. Cameron Gallagher. I'm up in the bird box here, folks. A little hard for me to see the numbers. Continue to do my best to make sure that I get the names and numbers right as Canada sets up on their world-renowned power play. Shot goes wide. I think everybody who's a fan of ball hockey knows what Canada likes to do on the power plays. That's what we're going to do here. Levi fakes it. Shot. Score. Canada 1-0. Tic-tac-toe. Nothing Ray could do on that. Canada making it look easy. Some quick passing. And your goal scorer there at number 4 is Jean-Philippe Moquin. Well, not the start you wanted if you're Great Britain, but as I said at the beginning of the game, they're a young team, right? They don't know what they don't know, and sometimes that works to your advantage, as it did against Greece. They got down 5-0, but they never quit. You know, sometimes when you're young, you just don't appreciate the magnitude of the moment and the gravity of the situation, and you just play hockey, right? You just take it a shift at a time. And that's what they got to do here. Just take it a shift at a time. Listen, you could argue it was a bad penalty or whatnot. I don't think it was a bad penalty. There was some hockey value in that interference call. Kid did what he needed to do. It's unfortunate that it resulted in a goal, but it is what it is, right? Can't change it. Pick your head up and just move on as Canada maintains possession down here in the Great Britain zone. Ball bounced around there quite a bit. Chipped up into the Canadian zone. First chance for sustained pressure here by Great Britain as the net gets completely dislodged off its moorings. Looks like number 44, Willie Burkett for Canada, took what I'll call a gentlemanly spill as he is focused there up on the main monitor. See where the face-off comes, up to neutral floor. Great Britain asking, why is it in the zone? The referee says, well, I don't have to explain that to you, son. Just get ready for the draw. Here we go. One back by Great Britain. Beasley has it. Great Britain trying to gain the zone. They are offsides. A little too overzealous on that effort. I see Magnus, White, Granger, Maher, and Davidson coming out for Canada. So they're going to get wholesale line changes here. Discussion right now between the referee and one of the, I believe that is a assistant scorekeeper. He's wearing an ISBHF shirt and not a local tournament organizing committee shirt. So I'm going to say that's an assistant scorekeeper. Face off ready at the neutral zone here. One back cleanly by Canada. Davidson has it. Sent it over to his partner. That's number 23, Caden Maher. Dumps it in down low. Canada, Great Britain giving chase. Hard into the boards there. Canada not messing around early. Intercepted by Great Britain. Good read on the play. Still battle along the boards there. Picked up by Canada, and they dump it deep into the zone. chipped up into the zone, and we are going to get a flooring call here. Great Britain player saying, hey, I touched that. Referee says, sorry, son, I don't think you did. And that'll be the end of that. So the faceoff will come down to the left of Dominic Gray. Trying to see who Canada's out there. Looks like they have the goal scorer, Makeen. See number 19, Josh Anderson's going to take the draw to his left. Number 71, Mitchell Byrne. I think Jared White or Carl LeVay are at the point. Face off, one back by Canada. Long shot, score! Canada goes up 2-0 on a blast from the point. Now's number 16, Noah Lemos. Ray never reacted for Great Britain. I just don't think he saw it. Obviously, he's a world championship level goaltender. He knows to just shake those off. I mean, you can't see it, you can't stop it. See if we got to look at that on the replay, but good heads-up clapper there. 2-0 with 11:41 remaining in first period here. As we take a look at the replay. Yeah, I don't think Ray saw that because he never reacted at all. He never made an attempt to stop that. So back to the action. Rifled in deep down by LeVay. Apologies if I mispronounced the French Canadian's name. Could be Laval. I'm saying LeVay. So possession by Great Britain, dumped all the way across floor to the near board. Joaquin has it, nice move, shot, goes wide. Great Britain with possession. Dumped in deep by Great Britain. Good poke check by number 24, Bill Marshall. Battling down low, up along the far boards. Canada with numbers here. Great Britain needs to hustle and get back. 3-on-2. There's a pass, shot. Oh, what a stop, Ray! I'll tell you, that's why he won player of the game yesterday. Moves like that. He really gives this team confidence, I'll tell you, folks. Those are not easy saves to make, believe me. The goaltender myself, you got 3 all-star Canadians screaming down on you. Quite nerve-wracking. As Canada enters the zone here, Great Britain needs to collapse and not give them some space. Back behind the net. Kicked up along the glass, ends up back down on the floor. Picked up by Canada. Dumped in, wrist shot, goes wide. Good look at the net there for Jacob Holmes. Looks like number 11 for Canada, Justin Mailino, fanned on that shot as we get a flooring call here with 9:39 remaining. So I myself am going to go ahead and check stats.isbhf.com and make sure I get you the right scores here now that they've updated it. So the first goal was Jean-Philippe Moquin, assisted by LeVay, number 88. And then the second goal was Noah Lemos, assisted by Josh Anderson. Ready for the draw. Chipped up to the side near boards. Picked up by Canada. Churchwell has it. Down low to Mailino. Tries a centering attempt. Shot. Saved by Ray. Good wraparound attempt there by Canada. Ball goes off the side of the net. Canada still with possession. Fake the turnaround. Mailino has it. Wrist shot goes off of a foot up into the netting, and it looks like Canada's going to get some wholesale line changes here. And looks like I see the letter C on Mailino's chest, so he's the captain for Canada. .909 left here in the first period. Canada's first game of the tournament, Great Britain's second. They lost 5-4 yesterday to Greece. And the referee blows it dead. Believe there was a face-off violation somewhere. Referee pointing, need you to get on side, son. Young man listens. And now the referee is what appears to be giving a complete and thorough explanation of World Championship level ball hockey face-off rules to Great Britain. Back to the action. Chipped up along the near boards by Great Britain, intercepted by Canada. White has it down low, sends it behind the net to the point, up to Maher. Maher chips it forward. Maher still with it. Stuck in his feet, can't really do much with it. Finally gets it onto his stick, over to the point. Here comes a shot from the point. Shot deflected wide. Picked up by Canada. Granger has it. Drops it off for number 23, Zafir Raji. Over number 86, Jared White. White now rifles it down low. Great Britain player without a stick. So if he gets near the bench, well, somebody gave him a stick. Oh, what a stop by Ray! Outstanding save, another one! Oh my goodness, Ray! Keeping this a 2-0 game. Well, this kid's got some reflexes. Long shot. Just goes over the net. Goaltender's lost his blocker. I don't know that the refs have seen it. They might be blowing this play dead if they see that. Not sure what the official rule is here when a goaltender loses a piece of their equipment other than the helmet. Now they do blow it dead. Okay. So I know if you lose your helmet, they blow the play dead. I was unsure of what the rule was. But I do have a referee here nearby who could potentially explain the rule. If a goaltender loses his equipment, blown dead, the goalie lost his blocker. The play is dead. Blocker, yeah. Yes, referee discretion. Okay, so yeah, I just got clarification on that. Basically, referee discretion, it's situational as Great Britain gets a 2-on-1. Here comes Cole. Oh, off of a foot, and an early great save by the Canadian netminder, Chris Kerr, as the ball was deflected off of his own player's foot. Kerr in good position there. Keep Great Britain off the board as a Canadian player loses their stick. So back to the lost blocker there. Basically, long story short, it's referee discretion. Depends on the situation of the play. There is effectively no hard and set rule there as Levi has it. Levi goes off of a foot. I'm probably going to call this guy 7 different names before this tournament's over. Levier, Levi, Laville, Levely. I'll try and catch him in the locker room after the game, make sure I get his name correct. Because I'm sure he has fans at home right now who are giving me the business for mispronouncing a World Championship level player's name. However, if someone wants to correct us, you can message us on ISBHF on Facebook. I have access to that. I have my phone right in front of me. And if I mispronounce any of your favorite player's name, just send a message to the ISBHF. I will get a notification on my phone, and I will be sure to pronounce their name correctly just for you. Back to the action. Quite a bit of business being given there by the Great Britain player. Boy, he was not letting Raji as a ball is still loose. Picked up by Canada. Ray strong on his post work there. Kept it a 2-0 game. Was trying to make light of the situation there. If that was number 10 for Great Britain, Jason Smith, who basically went WWE on a Canadian player there to make sure he didn't get off the boards. Picked up by Great Britain. Dumping it in down deep. Holmes wins the race. up along the near boards. And we get a whistle. Great Britain getting set up for the draw here. One back by Canada. Taken at the point by Churchwell. Long shot. Goes well wide of the net. Battle along the far boards. Picked up by Canada. Wrist shot in. Easily steered aside by Ray. Both players lose their footing along the near boards. Canada tries to gain possession. Now he goes tumbling behind the net. All the way back to the point, onto the stick of Churchwell. Throws it in down low. Canada still with possession in the Great Britain zone. Just Great Britain having some trouble here when they get the ball in the stick. I don't know that they're really used to the speed at which Canada operates. You just don't have room as the shot goes well high over the glass of Raji. But it's a lesson to be learned, right? The only way to get better at the game is to play people who are better than you. I don't think Great Britain has any delusions here. It's Canada, the defending champs. But they're doing a good job surviving the onslaught, Playing better this period than they did in the first period against Greece, I can tell you that much. As we continue to have a battle below me along the near boards. Looks like we got 4 people there. I don't think Great Britain's waiting for tea time. Canada's like, I need this ball, kids. Looks like White finally managed to get a stick on it, but then Cox intercepted it for Great Britain. Now back to Canada into the Great Britain zone. Picked up by Beasley, number 44. He'll be patient with it as both teams look to make some changes. So Great Britain finishes getting their fresh set of legs out there, dump it in across the near floor, and that's going to end up as a flooring call. For those of you who are just watching and are like, what the heck is a flooring call? Well, ball hockey has a lot of the same rules as ice hockey. However, we play on a floor. We don't play on ice. So we call it flooring, but the rule is the same as icing in hockey. Well, something happened here with the netminder, Dominic Gray. Might be an issue with his helmet. Oh, I see blood on his face. Looks like the kid's got a nosebleed. Great Britain training staff going to attend to him here, get that cleaned up. Might have happened about 5 minutes ago when there was that bit of a mad scramble in front of the net when I got excited when Ray bounced back up and made that save, because there was quite a few legs moving around his head. And as a goaltender myself, I have been kicked in the head numerous times, which I can tell you is obviously not fun, but it can lead to delayed nosebleeds. You really just don't even realize it because there's so much adrenaline coursing through your veins. And then you end up tasting a little bit of blood in your mouth, and before you know it, you're heading over to the bench and saying, hey, somebody give me a napkin here. I got a nosebleed. So it happens. It's hockey. Nothing to panic about. If you are family or friend of Dominic Gray, relative, and you're back home watching, I can assure you he is perfectly fine. He does not have a concussion. He's not going to need to go to the hospital. Nosebleeds happen. And listen, he's playing for his national club, right? This kid's a warrior. He's not going to let a little nosebleed stop him. Come on now. This guy's facing 120-mile-an-hour slap shots from the defending champion, Canada. last thing he's going to do is say, hey, I got a nosebleed. I need to come out of the game, coach. So hats off to Ray. Wipes that blood off of his face and says, I'm getting back in here. Come hell or high water. I'm going to finish this game. Good for you. All right, referee blows the whistle. And we are ready to get back into the action with 3 minutes, 59 seconds remaining. So here, Canada again, shot wide. I was about to say Canada with the tic-tac-toe, and then they ended up taking the shot there as number 4, the goal scorer, shot goes wide. Rebound goes through the crease, off of a foot and back under Ray. I tell you, man, can't say enough good things about this kid. He's on top of his game. He really is. You know, so Jean-Philippe Moquin is, you know, listen, he's just a wizard with his stick, for lack of a better way to express it. And he's extremely smart with his hockey IQ. And so I was about to say, here we go with the tic-tac-toe, but actually, you know what? That didn't go off a foot. That ended up, Ray stopped that with his pad. I'm still looking here on the rebound. Getting back to Moquin, he's just really quick with the heads-up passes. You know, loves the tic-tac-toe style of offense as he loses his helmet. But he ended up taking a shot there. Canada still with possession. Great Britain has it. And, uh-oh, bad turnover. Potential here for Great Britain. Good heads-up play on the part of Mitchell Byrne for Canada, turning the Jets on, making sure that Great Britain did get an opportunity to walk in all alone on Chris Kerr. Battle in front. Canada player loses his foot. That's Moquin. Now we have an arm up for the referee, and I think they're going to call it on Canada. Hooking. Yeah, he's talking to somebody. Canada, a little bit of disbelief here as the referees are going to go over and confer. Make sure they get the call right. All right, so the aforementioned Jean-Philippe Moquin is waiting to go into the penalty box, looking up at the scoreboard to say, are you kidding me? I didn't do anything. Well, there it is. It's it's an ultra 4 definition, high ultra definition, 1080p, whatever you want to call it, folks. You can't grab another player's stick like that. Guilty is charged, into the box he goes. And now Great Britain's asking for an explanation. Listen, I've been around the game of hockey, you know, my whole life. 49 years old, been playing in men's league since I was 13. I've heard just about every argument there is. I've been reffing for many, many years. So none of this is surprising to me. You can see yourself quite literally on the Jumbotron. As you see Moquin in the box laughing right now. You can see yourself on the Jumbotron committing the penalty, and somehow your own ego will be like, I didn't do that. No, that wasn't me. That's not really what happened. But referees are here to make sure that we have a fair and even match, and they're going to call it as they see it. And, folks, I say this at every tournament that I do play-by-play for. The hardest job at any tournament is the referees. They never get enough credit. You have no idea how fast this game is at the World Championship level. Believe me, if you think it's fast, like if you're from Canada and you think it's fast at the provincials, take the best of the best of the best of those guys and put them on a team and have them play against other people just like them. That's how fast this game is. You just can't really believe it until you're here, as another Great Britain player takes a spill. So getting back to the referees, it's a hard job at this level because the game is so fast, things happen so quickly. You know, if you're out of position and you try and get away with, if you're a player and you're out of position and you try and get away with something like Moquin did there, These are world championship level referees. They're going to catch it. So again, hats off to them. And now we have, well, one referee blew the whistle. The other one then blew the whistle twice. And they looked at each other and said, come here. And now it looks like we have too many men on the floor against Great Britain. Well, this ought to be interesting here because there's 2 minutes and 12 seconds left. So if I'm Great Britain, it was 4-on-4, which means now it's going to be 4-on-3. I'm basically, well, I'm not going to pretend to be a Hall of Famer like George Gortzos or Chicky Mentis, but if it was me on the bench, I'd be saying, listen, boys, clog the shooting lanes, keep everything to the outside. It's that simple. That's all we can do, right? If you happen to get possession, don't muck around with the ball. Get it off your stick, get it out of the zone. But for right now, clog the shooting lane, the shooting lanes, maintain proper distance in your triangle, and collapse down as Canada gets towards the net because they basically are going to have their 4 best shooters on the floor right now. So this will be interesting to watch. First 4-on-3 of the entire tournament thus far. So I'm as interested to see this as you are. So here's my Lino. They're going to set up for a one-timer here. Good job with the stick work. Nice. Shots. See, that's exactly what I was talking about, right? So if you're Great Britain and you know Canada loves to make the one-time pass on the power play, right? It's 4-on-3. All you can try and do, because you can't get a body there, is collapse down in that triangle. But it's Canada, right? They're so fast, you just don't have time to do it. That's not anybody's fault. Nobody from Great Britain did anything wrong. If you're one of the fans of Great Britain listening to me back home, believe me, there's nothing they could have done differently that would have resulted in a different outcome there. This is just a question of, it's a young team, right? They're trying to learn how to play against the defending world champions. And not only does that guy have a 110-mile-an-hour slap shot, I mean, look at that on the replay, right? He picked the corner and was 2 inches inside the post. There's nothing you could do about that. I don't care if it was Sergei Bobrovsky in net, right? You're just not stopping that. So Great Britain just needs to put it behind them, right? You know, mental mistake. All right, listen, boys, we had too many men on the floor. Nothing we can do about that now. Let's put it behind us. Canada, hey, credit to them. They took full advantage of it. Not going to lie, I expected them to score. You know, partly because they're defending champions, but also because Great Britain is the youngest team in the tournament. And the first time you get into a 4-on-3 at the World Championships, it's just a different beast. It's nothing you can possibly prepare for. As you saw with that shot, I mean, we don't have a radar gun here, but I've seen enough shots. I'm telling you, that was going about $110. And the guy picks, you know, inside the pipe 2 inches. What are you supposed to do? So right now, all they can do is put it behind them. There's 2 minutes left in the period. Back to 4-on-4. Let's try to get to the locker room at 3-0 here, as we're going to have a redrop here. And again, if you want up-to-the-minute scoring, just head over to stats.isbhf.com. You can also see all the shots on net. So right now for Canada, Chris Kerr has made 2 saves. And Dominic Ray has made 11. So dumped in deep by Great Britain. Great Britain, that ball goes up and actually ends up hitting the Italian flag up in the rafters, so if that went off of a Canadian stick, it should be deep inside the zone. I think the referees are conferring, hey, did you see it hit a stick? He says, no, I didn't. But I did, so we're going to have face-off down deep in the zone. All right, so that last goal, they don't have the assist up yet, but I'm sure they will here in a moment, was number 47, Jacob Holmes. Face-off one back by Canada. Minute 30 left remaining in the first period. Holmes with it. Goes off of a foot. Great Britain player takes a spill. Kelly doing a good job there on the side check. Back down behind the net. As we approach the 1 minute mark, all the way up to Raji. Gains the zone. Canada with it. Canada still with possession. Drops it off to Holmes. Shot. Pad save, Ray. Holmes again. Oh, fanned on it was Raji. Had half a net there. As we end up at the 42nd mark. Lamos with it. Lamos walking in all alone. Made a centering pass, a little too hot to handle. 30 seconds left. Wraparound shot, stuffed. Way to clog the shooting lane there. As the ball goes out of the zone, we end up with 15 seconds left. Picked up by Trevor Mainman. Mainman dumps it in on Ray. Ray pokes it to the boards, but ends up right on the stick of a Canadian defenseman. Scramble in front, and it looks like that'll do it for the period. So Jacob Holmes was assisted by Trevor Mainman on that goal. Go ahead and mark that on my scorecard. So there's 10-minute breaks here between periods. We will be back to bring you the second period. Team Canada, the defending men's A champion, up 3-0 against Great Britain. We'll see you in 10.
Lass deinen Traum wahr werden. Wird zum Profi. ochsnerhockey.ch
And we're back. (3-0) Team Canada. Defending world champions leading Great Britain. I have to say, Great Britain did a good job basically for the majority of that period, other than the mental mistake with the too many men on the floor penalty that led to a goal from Canada. I mean, ideally this should be 2-0, but hey, hats off to them for hanging with the world champs, right? It's a young team. You know, they're a former gold medal winner of the B pool themselves. You know, going from the B pool to the A pool, it's a big difference. Not just in terms of talent, but the pressure. Everything happens so much more quickly as the ball bounces out in front. Good poke check there, shot, good save by Ray. I'm telling you, this kid's very fundamentally sound, very positionally sound, as I believe they're going to blow that dead because the ball bounced off of somebody in Team Canada. But getting back to Ray, he was so impressive yesterday. I mean, really, how often do you see a goalie, right, give up 5 goals and win player of the game? And I'm telling you, can't say enough good things about him. It could have been 20-0 if it wasn't for him. He really inspired the team, and I think he helped spark that amazing comeback, even though they fell short 5-4. So face off. Here comes a one-timer shot. Good pad save. Good clear along the boards there for Great Britain. That was a smart heads-up play by Joe Howie. Get that ball out of danger. Howie now trying to find a man. Shot, good save. Rebound buried. And Canada goes up 4-0. So Ray made the initial save. And a bit of a positional breakdown there on the part of the Great Britain defender. Left his man between himself and the goalie and had an empty net. And obviously, I'm going to pull a Dan Dierdorf here and state the obvious. You can't do that against great players. Going to go ahead and check stats.isbhf.com. See who ends up on the scoreboard for that one. See they're on the replay, and seems to be some discussion now between Dominic Ray and I'm trying to see if he's talking to the, it's hard to see from my vantage point, folks. I'm trying to see who he's talking to here. He's doing something with his pads. He's talking with the other goaltender. Okay. So he might have had a broken strap. As you take a look at the replay here, there's initial pad save, right? And then you can see the Great Britain defender, right? Left number 86, who's obviously got the goal here. So, you know, that's a learning lesson for a younger player, right? You know, you're playing somebody like Team Canada, and you've got a guy there that has World Championship experience. You know, it's something you learn, right? As a lot of people said, failure is the greatest teacher. So a lesson learned for him, don't leave a man between myself and the goalie. There is a large Great Britain contingent here in attendance, I have to say. I'm not sure if you can see it on the stream, but I see 4 Great Britain flags. The Great Britain women played earlier today on the other rink, Raron, which, for people wondering why we have not been doing play-by-play there, it's just not possible. They have motion detection cameras. They don't have manned cameras, so that's why we don't have play-by-play there. Okay, so they put the goal scorer up on stats.isbhf.com, so it's Jared White. That's who ended up scoring for Canada, number 86. He was assisted by Magnus and Granger. Okay, so that's number 67, Blake Granger, and Christian Magnus, number 97. 4-0 Canada as Ray heads back into the net after his equipment malfunction. Referee making sure that the net is in alignment there. We'll come back up and have a draw. Face off, won by Great Britain, but then intercepted by Canada. Moquin with it. Sent down low. Backhand, oh, good reactionary save again by Ray on a quick backhand. I'll tell you, as a goaltender myself, those are the hardest shots to stop because they're extremely difficult to read. All you young kids out there watching the stream, you want to become a better ball hockey player? Develop your backhand. All right, face-off won by Canada, picked up by LeVay. LeVay throws it through the floor, nobody there to pick it up. Now it's picked up by Lemos, tries walking in. Good defensive stick work there by Great Britain as the ball goes out of play. Gathered up by Great Britain along near boards and then poke checked up out of play by number 16 for Canada, Noah Lemos. Chip forward by Great Britain. Sent back in down low by Canada. Kelly has it for Canada. Kelly wheeling and dealing over to Holmes. Long shot, deflected up into the mesh netting. And we'll get a face-off. Looks like Great Britain going for some line changes here. All right, so I got someone to message me on how to pronounce their name of the person I keep calling LeVay. So it's Le-Vay Lee. LeVay Lee. Hopefully that's correct. If it's still wrong, let me know. I got my phone in my hand. LaVallee. All right, intercepted by Great Britain. Deep into the Canada zone. And that ball gets poked up into the netting. Face-off one back by Great Britain. See if they can get some sustained pressure here. Again, good defensive stick work by Canada. Got to tip my cap to them, man. Every time Great Britain has gotten the ball here, Canada has really done an outstanding job maintaining proper distance with their sticks. And for all you young kids out there, one of the things you hear from coaches is, you know, maintaining proper distance with your stick is very, very important the higher you climb in the elite hockey ranks. As number 88, LaVallee, comes out. See Anderson out there, Mokeen. Got number 8, Trevor Mainman. And number 6, Kyler Nixon. What do we got for Great Britain? See Aaron Winstaley out there. Cameron Gallagher. Looks like Wojciech Krzysztof as well. And it looks like I missed the penalty while I was checking my phone, so apologies for that. But number 18, looks like Ben George is going off, or pardon me, number 19, Elliot Lewis is going off. So Great Britain shorthanded here. Chance for Canada to work on their power play. Mokeen over to Nixon. Absolute howitzer from Lula. See, I still can't pronounce his name, LaVallee. As we get a face-off. Well, so that penalty is their second offense for too many men on the floor. Well, that's something that head coach Gortzos is going to have to clean up here. Can't be making mental mistakes like that against any team, let alone the defending gold medal champion Canada. So we have your classic line stack here in ball hockey. So most elite teams do it to gain the zone. See how Canada works this around, try to set up that one-timer for either LaVallee or Mokeen. Over to LaVallee, shot goes wide, and then it ends up getting gloved by Dominic Ray. And Canada's gonna send out another power play unit. I see Kelly, I see Laframboise, Holmes, the captain Mileno's out there. Apologies, folks. I had to turn the microphone off there for a second as I am doing double duty here as the promotions director for the ISBHF. Always putting out fires at World Championships. Never a dull moment, but right back to the action as Canada gains the zone with 35 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Sent in down low and then immediately cleared by Great Britain. Good job by them, not wasting any time. Going ahead and get a line stack going here. Canada gains the zone. Near floor to Holmes. Holmes with it. Shot off the pipe. Boy, that was quick. Milano with it over to Holmes. Shot goes wide. That was Laframboise that hit the pipe, by the way. Or pardon me, Laframboise. All even now. Canada still with possession. Long wrist shot. Hit somebody in front. Great Britain trying to carry it out of the zone. And they're going to get some changes here. So picked up by Cox. Cox, wrist shot. Waffled down. It's a good look at the net, though, for Cox. I mean, it was a smart decision, right? The goalie has not faced a lot of shots. You know, hey, throw something at the net. You've heard me say this many times. If you've ever heard me call games before, if your worst option is to throw the ball on net, it's not a bad option. So 9 minutes, 56 seconds left here in the second period. Defending gold champs Canada leading Great Britain 4-0. Goal scorers, Jean-Philippe Moquin, assisted by Levalet. Noah Lamas, assisted by Anderson. Jacob Holmes, assisted by Mainman. And then the last goal was scored by Jared White, assisted by Magnus and Granger. Shots-wise, we are also keeping track of shots on goal on the stats.isbhf.com website. So right now, Chris Kerr for Canada has made 3 saves and Dominic Ray has made 22. Oh, good save again there by Ray on a quick redirect by Canada as Great Britain's going to try and get numbers here. Canada hustles back. Great Britain trying to maintain possession, still battling in front. They do have possession. Long wrist shot goes off of a leg up into the mesh netting, and the referee is signaling faceoffs going out as we get some jostling here in front. A couple of players giving each other the business. And I think the referee is going to send them both off. That looks like number 71 for Canada, Mitchell Byrne, along with number 9 for Great Britain, Cameron Gallagher. They're still jostling as the referee is saying, go to the penalty box or you're going to get a match. No, I'm not sure what's going on here, but they both walked to the wrong penalty box, which you don't really see too often in hockey, but hey, tempers are flaring. It's the defending champs, right? They don't want to let anybody feel like they're getting some leverage on them. Irrespective, not irregardless, irrespective of the score. Well, it's World Championship level hockey, folks. There's going to be some chirping going on, so what can you do? All right, set up for the draw in the neutral zone on Canada's side. One back by Great Britain. Howie has it. Howie sends it over to Churchwell. Back to Howie. Soft chip up along the boards. Good read by Canada there on the part of number 24, Ryan Nicholson. Nicholson has it. Nicholson sends it over to Nixon, and now on and all alone. Oh, saved by Ray as the net comes dislodged. Oh boy, I think JP Moquin is going to want that one back. He had all sorts of time walking in there on Dominic Ray, and I might be thinking to himself, I made one too many moves. As we see here on the replay, the ball got a little bit away from him, and then he was unable to corral it back to roof it up top. hard into the boards goes Great Britain and Canada. Uh-oh, bad shot. Score. Not a bad shot, sorry. Bad outlet. Read well by Canada, and then buried right between the legs of Ray, who had no chance. I mean, that was just bang, bang. And I believe your goal scorer on that's number 24, Bill Marshall. Well, again, Great Britain's a young team, right? You know, mental errors are a factor when you're a younger team, as we take a look at the replay here. So, you know, he was smart to chip it up. He's just got to be more mentally aware, right, of who's around where you're chipping the ball away from when it's behind the net. And number 24, Bill Marshall, making no mistake about that one. So Canada trying to walk in all alone. Shot, oh, just goes wide. Canada almost quickly made it 6-0. That was number 13, Remy Lawrence, as we have a whistle. Face-off coming all the way back into the Great Britain zone. Face-off picked up by Canada. We're going to get a call here. That happened right in front of the ref. Player's going to go off 2 minutes for tripping as the Canadian netminder comes to the bench. On comes the sixth attacker. It's the captain, Mileno. Mileno over to Leveille. And there's the call for tripping. So Canada back on the power play here. Already up 5-0. All right, so Lawrencell wins the draw back. Holmes has it. Holmes over to Milano. Milano to Holmes, shot, good save by Ray. And gets the glove on it. So this is the second time we've seen 4-on-3 in this game, and also second time we've seen 4-on-3 in the entire tournament. Let's see if Great Britain does anything different here to try and prevent that lethal Canada one-timer. But as I said before, there's not much you can do here when it's 4-on-3. I mean, these players are so good. They're so fast. They're so smart with the ball. It's just a tall order. As good stick work there. Can't see the player's number from here, but hats off to that kid for the good stick work on Great Britain. As Canada gains the zone, I'm going to go ahead and get set up here. So Great Britain's got to be a little bit tighter on their triangle as we go to 5-on-4 now, and Holmes makes no mistake about that. That's what I'm talking about. So there's nothing you can do, right? Again, I don't care if you're Stuart Skinner, right? You're not stopping that shot. I mean, it leaves the guy's stick. It's in the back of the net, right? So Ray, you know, just put it behind him. You know, he's a young kid. This is a learning experience for him, right? As you see here on the replay, I mean, watch how fast this comes off his stick. Bang, right? So Ray is already moving. It's just that Holmes has taken that shot 55,000 times in his life, right? He's not going to miss. It's just perfect placement just inside the post. He knows the goaltender's moving laterally, and he puts it in a spot where the goalie can't make a save. I mean, that's why Canada's the defending champions. They have players who are capable of that. face off to the right of Ray, and we're going to get a whistle here as we have a high stick. And I believe the referee is going to check for blood here. Walks past the player, so not going to be any additional two. However, out comes the now lethal Canada power play. Anderson, main man, Leveille, JP Mulcan, and Nixon's on defense. So if I'm Great Britain here, right, it's 6-0. You know, I think they understand what the situation is here. You know, just try and clog the shooting lanes, right? It's 5-on-4, and make sure you get bodies in front of your netminder. Because you know that if Canada gets the one-timer off, right, the speed at which they shoot, it's just virtually impossible for the netminder to stop, right? Well, Great Britain just needs to keep their head up. That's all they can do at this point, right? It's 7-0. You're facing the defending champions. You know, you're outshot, what, 30-3 now? You just want to focus on your fundamentals, you know. Make sure that you continue to run hard. Don't think of it as, you know, we're down 7-0 and we got to score 7 goals to tie this up. Just think of it, and I said this yesterday in the Greece game, just think of it as winning your shift. And you can break it down even further. Win the individual battle. As you see the replay here, I mean, it's nothing Ray could do on that. Nothing any goalie could do on it, right? So that's another example where, you know, that's a set play for Canada, right? So these are veteran players, you know, selected from the provincials, various, you know, teams like, you know, the Midnight Express, the Edmonton Savages, right? You know, Vancouver Falcons, and they're used to playing at an elite level. So when they get into camps and they have set plays like this, right, it's not new to them. It's just new to them in the sense that they're doing it with a different teammate, but the play itself is not new, as they're going to go ahead and replace Ray. Getting the number here for you. So Arjun Kayla is going to come in, get some experience here, as this game is basically out of reach now for Great Britain. So all the credit in the world to Dominic Ray. You know, if you're listening back home and your family, friend, or just a fan of Great Britain, hey, hats off to that kid, man. He did the best he could. That's the defending gold medal champion, right? You know, Great Britain's in the A pool now. You know, I'm reminded of something, you know, ex-football coach Mike Ditka once said when he was talking about Walter Payton and then how hard it was to tackle Walter Payton, who used to be NFL's all-time leading rusher. And Ditka was interviewed, and he would say, you know, a lot of times if you watch Walter, instead of running out of bounds when he gets close to the sidelines, he'll take a step forward and he'll turn into that defender and try and run him over, just to let people know, and he'll do this early in the game, just to try and let him know what it's like to face the best, because Walter knew he was the best. And, you know, in hockey with a team like Canada, when you're facing Great Britain, right, as Great Britain netminder makes his first save here, you're trying to set a tone for the tournament, right? And I said this yesterday, goal differential matters. So this is not a question of poor sportsmanship or anything like that, right? If Canada can score 30, believe me, they will. Because goal differential is the #1 tiebreaker. If, you know, teams finish with the same amount of points, as Canada tries to give and go here, that doesn't work. So, you know, part of what Canada's doing here, you know, is nothing personal against Great Britain. I'm sure everybody on Canada has nothing but the utmost respect for Great Britain. But they're showing the rest of the teams in the tournament what it's like, just like Walter Payton did, to play the best. So just as I've been saying, you know, credit to Canada, hey, or pardon me, credit to Great Britain, you know, credit to Canada, as I'm not sure why this guy from Canada is even questioning this, Granger. I mean, it happened right in front of the ref. You're going to see it on the big screen. I mean, if I'm Great Britain right now, I would just give Canada the ball and, you know, so let me focus on my power play. I'm not sure you're going to be able to get it deep and get sustained pressure in a 6-on-5. Probably better off with a 5-on-4, but that's why I'm in the announcer's booth, folks, and I'm not down there coaching. What do I know? Well, but getting back to Canada's message here, right? So they're not just going to play teams at Great Britain's level in this tournament. They're trying to repeat as champions. So they're trying to send a message to the other teams that they feel that they're going to end up having to compete against, in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and if they make it that far, the gold medal game, right? The powerhouses, your Finlands, your Czech Republics, your Slovakia, Greece, right? They're trying to send a message, say, hey, we're here to play, right? We made Great Britain look like a cakewalk, and when you come face us, you better bring your A game, as Tiger Woods used to like to say, because we're not going to make it easy for you. Looks like there's a little bit of confusion about who Great Britain wanted out on the man advantage there, but they do win it back a little too quick. Beasley goes back to pick it up. So battle down deep, picked up by Beasley. See what Great Britain can do here on their man advantage. Beasley just playing pitch and catch right now. Walks it in, wrist shot. Ooh, good wrist shot there. Was going for a deflection. Number 95, Kyle Lewis, was standing in front there all alone. Lewis unable to get the tip there, so good positional butterfly save by Chris Kerr. Smart wrist shot there for Great Britain, right? Those are the types of habits that you want to develop if you're a young and up-and-coming team, right? You see a man standing all alone in front, throw it on net, right? Doesn't have to be a 110-mile-an-hour clapper. Nice 80, 85-mile-an-hour wrister, get it on net. You never know what happens. Uh-oh, intercepted by Canada. Here comes Jeg. Centers just a little bit behind number 97 there, Christian Magnus. And number 21, Andrew Jeg, is a little bit disappointed with himself. And if his name is Yeg and not Jeg, I apologize to friends and family at home. Again, you can correct me. Just send me a message on the ISBHF Facebook or Instagram account. I have the phone right here, and I'll be happy to pronounce his name correctly for his friends and family back home. So 37 seconds left on the man advantage here. Great Britain has had one shot on net so far during this man advantage, as they choose the dump it in method and not what you've seen Canada do now 3 times on the power play, which is just a quick tic-tac over the line and back. Be interesting to see if Great Britain gets sustained. Well, so much for that. That's not going to happen. I was going to say it'd be interesting to see if Great Britain gets sustained pressure here, if they try and get more bodies in front of Kerr. But that penalty's over now, so back to 5-on-5. With just under 3 minutes left as Canada gains the zone. In all alone, good save, Great Britain. Solid positional goaltending there by Arjun Kela. As for Canada, that was number 19, Josh Anderson, who was walking in all alone. Believe he tried to go 4-hole and not 5. Let's see if we can see that on the replay. He's got his head up. Yeah, he tried to go 4-hole, not 5. So, hey, that's why he's on Canada, because when you're that good, you can go 4-hole and not 5. The ball is chipped up into the Canadian zone, corralled by Holmes. Lavallee with it. Lavallee, again, good positional save. Wow, I like what I'm seeing from the Great Britain netminders here. I'll tell you, this Lavallee guy's got one heck of a shot, boy. I can hear it when his stick releases and he scrapes the floor from up here in the bird box. Great Britain trying to carry the ball into the zone, broken up by Canada. Oh, good pinch there by Great Britain. drops it off, but nobody there. Picked up by LaValle, sent forward. Back to LaValle, he's got room. Rolled off of his stick, and I believe that was Mixon that sent the backhander. I think it looked like it just went over the crossbar. LaValle with it. LaValle loses it. Intercepted by Canada. Good read there by Dylan Churchwell. Ball goes out to the point, over to Holmes. Holmes loses it. Bad play by there. Walking it all alone. Shot, save, rebound off the foot. I don't think the goalie knew where it was. Wow, wasn't that an interesting turn of events here? Holmes with a rare turnover. So here's where I thought Holmes might have been yelling at his goalie to just sit and not move. And face-off is coming outside to the neutral zone here. So sure, Holmes is very disappointed with himself. Doesn't need anybody on Team Canada to tell him that he made a mental error there. Picked up by Nixon. Nixon wheeling and dealing through the neutral zone. Advances it over the red. Sent cross floor to Lorenzel. Lorenzel with it. Long shot from the point. Goes off the backboards. Into the corner. Now along the far boards. Oh, nice spin move there. Backhander save. Rebound is loose. That was Lorenzel on the nice spin move there as we reach the 1 minute remaining mark. So chipped up forward by Canada off the stick of Raji. Sent up by Great Britain, but intercepted by Canada. Good read there on the play by Byrne. Canada gains the zone. Rolls off the stick of Raji, back to Lorenzel. Lorenzel fires it in down deep. Nope. Mishandled it, now gives chase. I feel like Lorenzel's been out there for like a minute. This guy must have some motor. Center attempt goes wide. Believe me, a minute at this level is a long shift. This is not, local hockey. As the netminder gets a glove on that with 12.1 left in the period. So face-off coming just to the right of Chris Kerr. And we're at 7 seconds left here. See if Canada tries to get one more opportunity. Hemmed in down low along the boards. That's going to do it for the period here. Well, I don't know who adjusted the sound on the goal horn, but I'll tell you, my stool was vibrating from that. Sounds like they took the Buffalo Sabres goal horn and lowered the bass on that to about 1,000. Goodness gracious. All right, enough babbling for me. Going to go ahead and save my voice. 10-minute break between periods. Remember to check your stats. The stats at ispHF.com. See you back here in 10.
Lass deinen Traum wahr werden. Wird zum Profi. ochsnerhockey.ch Lass deinen Traum wahr werden. Wird zum Profi. ochsnerhockey.ch
All right, we are back. Or I should say, I am back. And I want to say merci beaucoup to Jen Bannon for sending me a very nice message on how to pronounce Levaye. So hopefully I got that right. Oh, Great Britain almost put one behind Canada as I'm sitting here babbling on about names. Boy, talk about bad announcing. Put me in the Bad Announcer Hall of Fame. Apologize to the Great Britain fans at home. You need to keep your head on a swivel up here when you don't have a color commentator. Look at this guy run. Main man in all alone. Good pad save. I don't know where that guy got wheels from, but good Lord. Picked up by Canada. White with it. Over to Granger. Down deep battle. Granger still battling with it. Battle along the near boards, thrown towards the net. Goes behind the net. Granger now with it again. Circling out in front, Granger shot. Hit a body in front. But look at Granger, man. This guy's still running. Talk about world-class athletes. Been out there 40 seconds, he's still running. Byrne with it. Canada dumped it in down low. That was Noah Lamosse with it. Back to Granger. Pad save. Rebound, Mayo! Magnus almost buried it. And we get a flooring call here. Thought he was going to roof that, but not sure if the Great Britain netminder got a piece of it or not. We'll see if Arjun Kayla got a pad on that. Hopefully on the replay. Well, no, there was the Great Britain play. Yeah, so that guy from Canada saved the goal. And there's the streak in main man. Levaye with it. Walking in all alone, and we're going to get a call as we end up with a goal. Levaye. Well, it's rare to see somebody score a goal and then be unhappy about it, but I believe he took offense to the Great Britain player tripping his teammate. Oh, it's 8-0, man. I don't know what to tell you at this point. Goals are hard to come by at any level, so I'd be celebrating myself, but. All right, Great Britain has it at the blue line, and they are offsides. Well, the arena announcer had no problem getting his name right. Of course, they speak German, French, Italian, and Romansh in this area, so no surprise there. Just trying to keep things light and entertaining, folks. It's 8-0 in the third period here. And we are ready for the draw. Ends up getting won by Canada. Sent all the way down. Well, there was a penalty there that I missed. Again, nominating myself for the Bad Announcing Hall of Fame, but Jacob Holmes, number 47, is in the box, so let's see what Great Britain does here. Canada maintaining possession. Great Britain finally gets it. Walking it back to the point. Cox has it. Cox looking for an option. Wrist shot goes off of a leg. Back to the point. Over to Cox. Nice long shot. That got deflected. Good positional save by the Canadian netminder. He has not seen a lot of work. Chris Kerr. Great Britain with it. Oh, good defensive stick play there. Who was that? Number 24 for Canada, Bill Marshall. Boy, I'll tell you, if you're a family or friend of Bill Marshall, give that guy a cigar when he gets back for sacrificing the body. Great Britain netminder comes out to play it, but unfortunately plays it all the way around a little too hard over to a Canadian player. Loose ball in front, loose ball, still loose, shot, oh, what a stop! Ho, ho, ho! Arjun Kayla on his butt and his back, throwing limbs out left and right, ends up making a big save. Hey, maybe 8-0, but big save's a big save. They should be celebrated. And yes, I am biased because I'm a goalie myself. Well, back to even strength here, so I'm gonna head over to stats and see what Holmes got called for. As we get a whistle here for flooring. Well, they don't have the penalty listed, so I don't know what he got called for, but whatever it was, I'm sure he deserved it. No, I'm just kidding. Referee providing some instructions here to the Canadian centerman. Long shot from the point, goes off of a body, into the corner goes Levaye. Levaye with it, trying to wheel and deal out in front, throws a backhander on net, goes over the crossbar. Over to Moquin. Moquin with it. Back to Levaye. Great Britain giving chase there, but Holmes beat him to the ball, but turned it over. So easy pad save for Kerr as we reach the 9-minute, 45-second mark. Anderson with it, drops it off to Levaye. Levaye looking at his options. Wrist shot. Good original pad save there by Kayla, but the rebound was immediately buried. I believe that was number 19, Josh Anderson. Yes, it was. Canada with it again. Goes off of a foot. As Great Britain gives chase. Beaten to the ball by Canada. Chipped up along the near boards. Canada with possession in their own zone. advanced up to Remy Laurencel. Great Britain, I believe that's going to end up in a flooring call. It is. A little too overzealous on the outlet pass there. Canada with possession inside the Great Britain zone. Backhander goes off the backboards. Wraparound attempt. Stuffed by the Great Britain netminder, Arjun Kayla. Sent in down low where number 44, Wiley Burkett, gives chase. Burkett trying to walk it out in front. He's taken down, no call. Canada with possession, over to Burkett. Main man with it. See if he's going to turn the Jets on again. Look at this guy. Jesus. Rifles one after he's offsides, but man, tall and lanky and runs like the wind. Center attempt went through the foot of the Great Britain player, and how it ends up in the Canada zone. Great Britain gains possession, intercepted by Canada, intercepted by Great Britain. A little bit of ping pong here in the neutral zone. Now Canada has it. Oh, good stick work there by Great Britain. Magnus. Spin move, walks in, shot, picks the top shelf and scores, making 10-0. Good shot there by Christian Magnus, but an even better move, honestly, off of the boards. It's very hard to do, to pull off a spin move and maintain the ball in a shooting position all within the span of 1 second. So credit to Christian Magnus. He's happy with himself, sees himself up on the Jumbotron. So Mitchell Byrne gets the assist on that one from Magnus as Canada regains the possession. Oh, good save there off of a quick redirect. Ball rolls through the crease into the far corner. Holmes behind the net, looking for an option. Over to Anderson, and then over to Levaye. Give it back to Anderson. Nobody was there. Good hustle play. Number 3, Dylan Churchwell at the point there. So Great Britain trying to get the ball out of the zone. Can't. Still can't. Canada still onside. 5:40 left. Great Britain with possession now in the Canadian zone. Got a couple of fresh legs out there. See if they try and get a cycle going. Chip forward by Canada. Number 94, Jacob Kelly, was hustling there, unable to beat the referee's whistle. Well, if I'm head coach Jason Cormier for Canada, I'm happy with this performance. I think they've really controlled play since the first ball drop. And other than a couple of mental mistakes, which are to be expected for every team in the first game, right? I mean, at the end of the day, nerves get the best of anyone. Nobody's perfect. But I think he's got to be happy with this. As do assistant coaches Francois Chaloux and Brock Harrison. Brock Harrison, winner of the Most Valuable Forward Award at the 2023 Buffalo Masters for Canada Saskatchewan, who ended up making it into the bronze medal game, lost to Greece. Want to talk about wheels? Go on our YouTube channel, watch Brock Harrison run, and hey, you'll get to see him run again too in the Legends. Good glove save there. Coming up in Edmonton, Alberta in August, ISBHF with our first ever Legends Division World Championship for men age 45 plus. Looking forward to a good time up in Edmonton with some of the legends of our sport who have kept themselves in great shape, still play at a high level. You know, they're obviously not as fast as the younger guys here, but they're all wily veterans, as we like to say, and very smart with the ball, and see a lot of good positionally sound, very good fundamental type hockey. So I'm looking forward to that. And Brock Harrison will be playing for Team Canada. Would not shock me at all if he won Most Valuable Forward again. One of the fastest players I've seen at his age. As we have 3:49 remaining. 10-0 Canada, as my UK fans like to say. Although in America, as you know, we say 0. But across the pond here, they like to say 0. Well, as I mentioned, goal differential matters, so we'll see if Canada continues. Ooh. Looked like a Great Britain player almost took a nasty spill there into the boards, but Canada was like, hey, sorry about that, bud. I was going to say, it'd be interesting to see if Canada continues to keep the Jets turned on and try and get any more, because goal differential is the #1 tiebreaker, so. Ready for the drop. One back by Great Britain. Over to the point. Down low. Thrown on net. No real danger there. Easy pad save for Kerr. Magnus with it. Magnus walking in. Made a drop pass. Nobody was there. Canada player blows a tire, but was able to pick himself right back up as we get under 3 minutes remaining. Ball ends up in the foot of the Great Britain player, Cole. Now it's picked up for Canada. White has it. Wrist shot goes wide. White chases his own shot. Over to the point. Nice stick handling effort there. Easy pad save. Goes out in front. Ball's still loose. And now the referee is going to have to separate a couple of players here who are giving each other the business, and now the goaltender's unhappy. Well, that's hockey. What can you do, right? Coaches always tell you that's why you play to the whistle, kids. Nothing wrong with that. Wrist shot, good butterfly save there. Nice rebound pad save. Kayla getting his work in here. Has 2 minutes, 12 seconds left. Boy, look at the mustache on that guy. Who is that, White? Jared White, sporting a stash at the World Championship, Tom Selleck style. Most impressive. Ball goes out in front. Picked up by Great Britain. Intercepted by Canada. Less than 2 minutes remaining here in the third period. Minute 56 left. A lot of fans starting to pour in here as the Swiss ladies are going to play next. Be sure to tune in for that one. Ball behind the net, Canada with possession. Thrown out in front harmlessly. Nobody there to receive it. Canada going to try and walk out in front. Shot, score, 11-0. That is number 16, Noah Lemos. So getting back to the next game, it'll be Switzerland. The Swiss women facing off against the Czech Republic, also known as Czechia. Canada comes screaming in again. Shot goes wide. We getting close to the 1 minute mark here. About to wrap this one up. Long pass, handled by Canada over to JP Mocan. Look at the hands on this guy. Just batted the ball to himself twice. Shot, good pad save. I got to say, the Great Britain netminders are solid, man. If there's one area it seems like they don't have to worry about, it's goaltending. They're doing a tremendous job. They really are. My favorite Canadian player, Levaille, pushes a Great Britain player. Now the referee says, cut the you thought I was going to say it there, didn't you? Well, now they're jostling at each other, and Levaille is saying something, and the Great Britain player is like, yeah, keep chirping, pal. You're up 11-0. And honestly, you know, my opinion on that in games like this, where, you know, clearly one team is the better team, you know, save it for later. That's, you know, but I'm an old man. I guess my enthusiasm for chirping is not nearly as high as it was in my younger years. – 20 seconds left. Canada has it behind the net. Canada with a cycle going. 8 seconds left. 5. And I think that's going to do it here. Walks it out in front. Last shot, backhander, saved by Great Britain. And both teams walk away. So that'll do it for this one. We'll hang around, see who the players of the game are. For Great Britain, that's a tough call. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you gave it to one of the two netminders. Trying to look at the list of runners here, and nobody really stood out. But I think Aiden Cox had a good game. You know, I think Elliot Lewis, Cameron Gallagher, you know, they played well. Saw them giving a lot of Canadian players the business. You know, doing some good stick work. I mean, on Canada, you know, kind of a potluck here when you put up 11 goals. Player of the game where one team is, you know, just skill-wise clearly better than the other. Generally, you can tend to end up giving it to a lot of people, but this is chosen by the head coach, so let's see who they choose. I'm going to go with Jacob Holmes for Canada. That's my guess, number 47. He had 2 goals. I'm going to go with Holmes. We'll see. Great Britain, I'm going with one of the goalies. Well, I was wrong on that. Great Britain, it ends up going to number 91, Carter Price. Congratulations to that young man. His first Player of the Game award at a World Championship event. Good for him. Ha! I should buy a scratch ticket tonight if they sell them here in Switzerland, folks. Look at that. Holmes ends up getting Player of the Game. Congratulations to him. He certainly did play well. Being given the Player of the Game award by someone he knows who is heavily involved in the world of Canadian ball hockey, ISBHF President Elio Pascuzzo. Always good to receive a reward from someone named the president, as they will play the Canadian National Anthem. That's it for me, folks. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back to call the Swiss women against the Czech Republic. Be sure to tune in. Should be an exciting affair. Going to be a lot of fans in attendance. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.